This question is for all candidates. The Vital Signs project has shown that Hamilton children are doing less well than the national average. What can the Hamilton City Council contribute to the welfare of its tamariki? We'll start with Paula. Thank you. You have 1 minute.
There again, I think those are the things that are very complex, and you have to work with the experts, which is the educational sector itself. And Vital Signs acknowledges that it's a community problem with a community solution. I think where Hamilton City Council can play its role is in creating cities that are safe for children, supporting schools in that way, safe walkways to schools, safe cycleways to schools, places for children to play safely in the fresh air, and those kinds of matters. The educational curriculum is for educational specialists to deliver, but we can, as a community, ensure we support community organisations that do work to keep children safe and thriving, not just safe from harm, but got plenty of food so they can learn.
I don't believe it's council's job to bring up families. It's our job to make facilities available. I believe if every stable family or every stable household took up a responsibility to look after a struggling family, we'd change the world.
Yeah, I believe in youth with a future because they're the ones who hold the key to whatever happens, for the future. So therefore, we have to work with our schools. We need to work with our youth. And one of the complaints of the youth is not enough counsellors interact with them. So it's about high time that we all went into the different schools and listened to the young ones, what they have to say, and also the idea of breakfast for children. We need to support programs like this, because they are the way of the future. And our families, I think we need to work with family and whānau to come up with solutions to the violence and the underprivileged families that we have in society. So I think it's all about contact with our community consultation.
My mum was the Plunkett nurse in Huntly, and she'd bring kids home to give parents breaks, and we'd come home from school and there'd be kids there. And from my perspective, that's how I was raised, and it's a community approach. And I fast forward to myself to being a 47-year-old, and I look back at those experiences and say, what can I do if I become the mayor as the leader around that? And Paul is right, it's actually working with the community, it's working with the right agencies, but more importantly, it's actually providing that leadership to say, this is what tomorrow is, and actually providing that confidence and the guidance about what we really need, and working with those organisations and directly with those families. So that's something that I'll be bringing to it, and I'll work incredibly hard around that. And it's sort of like some Anthea Simcock who's here today, and the good work with those organisations. It's getting in behind and helping.
I'm afraid we're running out of time, and I still have a lot of questions to read. I'm going to ask one final question here tonight, and then we will be in contact with all the candidates, and maybe you can provide some feedback on our social media outlets. So the final question for this evening for all candidates is, given that Hamilton is an urban catchment, what would you do to ensure that Hamilton City plays its part in improving water quality? You have 1 minute to answer, and we'll start with Andrew. Or we can start with someone else if you'd like to.
Well, I think our drinking water's probably the best in New Zealand, and it's delivered at an affordable price. And considering we pump it 3 times uphill out of the river and treat it before it comes to our taps. So from a drinking water point of view, I think we've got it sorted. I do understand that treating our stormwater that runs off our streets in an old city is very difficult because you'd have to capture it and then treat it before it was discharged. Now, we do have a responsibility here, but it'd be easy in a new city where we could pipe all the water to one place and treat it. But where we've got a city where basically your stormwater drain goes straight into the river, to be able to treat each one of those along the way is very expensive. So I think we probably need to take a bigger picture and a bigger look at this, and that's what's coming in the form of electric cars, which will change the pollution that's produced in the first place to stop getting into the water.
Yeah, I used to be a water and wastewater plant operator, so having clean water using the right chemicals is vital for our water. And I also feel that we need to look at alternative ways of producing cleaning water, like grey water tanks and the waters from the heavens in terms of the tanks and so forth. And we need to look at the BOD levels that are going into our river to pollute the river. So it's all about recycling water and having clean water. And also we need to have fluoridated water as well as unfluoridated water. So it's up to people, whichever they like, because some of them don't like fluoridated water, although we had a referendum on it last time. I'm definitely against the water meters.
Well, so Waikato means flowing water, and you know, and the Waikato River, the proper name is Waikato Tanawha Rua, which is the flowing waters of 100 monsters. And so I look at it from a very simple perspective. What can we do to actually improve the quality? And that's coming back to the Gullies program, making sure we do that really well. But it's like another thing is, like, I look at the Victoria on the River Park. It's going to cost about $8 million. It's going to be paved with a bit of grass. Whereas I'd look to something like Waitangi Park in Wellington, where they've got a natural wetland that takes it into the sea, and all the runoff goes through a natural wetland, is actually cleaned. And you do that and you think smarter. And we're not thinking smart about Victoria on the river. And that's the kind of thinking I would love to bring to the Mayoral and to Hamilton.
Let's just clarify, the question was, what can Hamilton do, or what needs to occur for Hamilton's water to be cleaner? Sorry.
I'll read the question again. Given that Hamilton is an urban catchment, what would you do to ensure that Hamilton City plays its part in improving water quality?
So Hamilton City plays its part. Well, this is very timely because on Thursday the Waikato Regional Council considers a plan, Healthy Rivers Waiora, to look at the sustainable well-being of our waters going forward. It's a very complex area of discussion. You've got to look at where the most pollution comes from for the river if you're going to make a real difference. So we're tackling diffuse pollutants from farming, from growing crops, from forestry being cleared, and a range of things. In the city, people do have to play their part, and that comes to good quality stormwater management, good quality roading management, so that you're not getting all the heavy metals into the stormwater. People playing their part with anything that goes down the sink. I talked to the Waikato Institute of Will's Waikato leaders at the schools, and I talk about water from taupo to the tap. And they become very aware all of a sudden how much they rely upon it and how much they impact on water. From the litter they put down the gutter, your cigarette butt as you throw it as you go by, goes down into the stormwater, to every product that goes down that plug hole. We all play a part in looking after our water.
Thank you very much for your time this evening, and I'd like to, if you could give a round of